Well, good day to you, Dudu. I'm standing on the Durban beachfront. It's one of the more prominent tourism hotspots when you think about Durban, when you think about KwaZulu-Natal. My colleague Lungelo will just show you, for a Monday afternoon, the beach is quite packed. Of course, you know, when one comes to the beach, you're not necessarily wearing masks, and as you can see, I'm not seeing anyone actually who is wearing a mask right now. And the unfortunate part of this is that the Omicron variant, the highly mutated variant, we have learned is more transmissible than what we have seen previously, and also can rapidly evolve once you are infected, the infected cells replicating. And this is a cause for concern, as we have just seen overnight on Sunday, KwaZulu-Natal being called the epicenter for this virus, having accounted for 27% of the cases, and we have seen a gradual increase of COVID-19 cases over the past few days. On the 19th of December, we recorded 4,135 cases. On the 18th of December, 4,202. On the 17th of December, 5,812 new cases. Overall, KwaZulu-Natal has 51,332 active COVID-19 cases. So this is, of course, very concerning, as, of course, we are seeing more tourists come through. In fact, you can also have a look at the promenade itself, where you'll see people walking alongside each other, no one as well wearing a mask. The eThekwini municipality has said that they can't essentially in these spaces force people to comply with these regulations. But as we see the KwaZulu-Natal Premier, Zikelana, it will be interesting to hear what his views are about this. Now, it's also important to note, Dudu, that last year at this time, KwaZulu-Natal was having trouble with regards to hospital admissions. We at the time were experiencing a second wave of coronavirus cases, and paramedics as well as hospitals said that they were burdened with the number of patients that were being administered to hospital. But at this time, this fourth wave, we see that most people who are being administered to hospital because of COVID-19 are those who have not been vaccinated, meaning they're not able to deal with the symptoms that come with the Omicron virus. Now, the last stats from the Premier himself was given on December 4th, where he said that 36% of people in the province had been vaccinated, but there's still more work that needs to be done. And as I read my notes, on December 4th at that time, there were 381 patients who had been admitted to both private and public hospitals. That number, we understand, may have been increasing, as overnight we saw 87 people admitted to hospital countrywide, that number is. So, of course, one of the major concerns here is how will the behavior of people relate to the numbers of COVID-19 rising, and whether or not a harsher lockdown is needed. At this time, there's no sign from the national government nor the Coronavirus Command Council on whether this may actually happen, and perhaps the Premier can also speak more about this, on what measures he has been told that the province must take from a national perspective, especially because KZN is the tourism hotspot of the country, and we do understand that from around the 16th of December right up until after Christmas and into the new year, we're going to see more tourists come in. International travel has been restricted in many cases, so of course now we see more local tourists traversing parts of the country, and because of its warm beaches, KwaZulu-Natal is one of those hotspots. So at this point, I must also tell you that when we look at the COVID-19 testing lines, they have been very long. Over the past weekend, I saw quite lengthy lines at drive-through testing sites, as well as in hospitals. I'm being told by those on the ground that hospital surgeries are filling up with people who are coming through with flu-like symptoms, believing that they may have contracted COVID-19, and then ultimately being told to take a test and isolate if need be at this point, just to really protect oneself or protect others in case of spreading the virus. Another cause for concern here, Dudu, is this is, of course, the festive season time, and there are, warnings about visiting one's family members, especially elder relatives, if you have these flu-like symptoms that could ultimately mean that you may have contracted the virus. So these are some of the concerns being played out. But in the meantime, we can hear from the Premier on what he has to say about COVID-19 in KwaZulu-Natal.